Hi everyone. So today in this video I want to talk about the 3 best places to meet a good province girl in the Philippines. Let's get started. Okay, so the first one that I want to talk about is Negros. Now, specifically, you want to stick around the middle or the top upper right portion of Negros. I'll throw up a map. Stay away from the Dumaguete and the Bacolod area. Those areas are not as good. They're not really province, and there's a lot of foreigners that do visit those 2 places. Dumaguete in particular, it's overrun with expats, so we're not really anything special. They see us all the time. They interact with us all the time. So it's no big deal to run into a foreigner. And Bacolod, I believe, has a lot of actually Koreans that go there. I'm not sure why. But anytime you get these real big cities, it starts to attract more foreigners. And that's what you kind of want to stay away from. But Negros, I find the women to be extremely pretty. And a lot of foreigners, we like girls to be a little bit darker. We like morena type Filipinas. In Negros, when the Spanish first landed there, they saw a lot of people and they were darker, and so they called the island Negros, meaning black. Negros means black. So if you like the morena type, then Negros is an ideal spot. There's a lot of colleges and universities, and it does attract a lot of Filipinas to come here and go to school. So, and there are a lot of beaches. There's a lot of nature, waterfalls, and just beautiful mountains and landscape. So Negros is a great place, and I found that the women here seem to be extremely sweet, and so that is why Negros is my first choice. But again, stay away from the Dumaguete area with all the tourist attractions, and that would include, Bais with the dolphin watching, and the sandbar, and away from Apo Island and Siquijor. All those places just attract a ton of tourists, and so it's been kind of diluted or watered down as far as being a good place to find a good province girl. But if you get to the other sections of the island, again, away from Bacolod as well, you will find a great province girl. I recommend just shooting down to Bacolod or Dumaguete, renting out a motorbike. And I actually rented out a motorbike. You get better deals the longer you rent it. For example, I got it 250 pesos per day, which is $5 per day if I rented 1 week. Okay, so that's 1,800 pesos. You can do the math. It's about 50 to 51 pesos to the dollar. And if I rented for the entire month, I got it for 5,000 pesos for $100. And what I recommend is just take a little road trip. It's a lot of great things to see here. And, maybe home base in one place and then just kind of take a road trip driving around Negros. And you can just stop at cities that you find interesting, or get out a map and look at places to see and do, and just tour around the island. You could do that in like a week or even 2 weeks. You could really just tour around the entire island. So Negros, choice number 1. So the second place that I recommend is the island of Samar. Now, one thing about Samar is nobody goes there. No foreigners even go there whatsoever. In fact, the only reason a foreigner ever goes to Samar is not to see some kind of a tourist attraction, but it's usually to meet a Filipina maybe that they've been chatting with online. Other than that, nobody really goes to Samar, which makes it all that much more special, because literally you can go to certain cities in Samar and they've never seen a foreigner, I promise you. But Samar produces some beautiful women. Now, Samar is probably the poorest place in the Philippines. So if you go there, if you think you've seen poverty, in the Philippines and other places, but if you go into Samar, it'll be worse. So you do have to practice some due diligence. You need to be a little bit careful of where you go. I flew into Samar. I stayed in Calbayog. There was literally from Cebu, there was one flight in per day and one flight out per day. That was it. One flight in, one flight out. There's also, you can catch the ferry over there and the boats, and that goes multiple times. So you just have to decide where you want to go. But Samar has some really great beaches, some phenomenal waterfalls. In fact, I went to a zip line where you literally had to climb upstairs, downstairs, and it was I think it was about 1 kilometer through the jungle. It was a nice path with stairs and railings, and you get up to the top, and then you do a zip line across the ocean onto an island. And then from the island you can swim, and then when you're done swimming, the boat will take you back to the mainland. But it was a really cool experience and a lot of fun. But I went there specifically to meet a girl. It was a couple years back, and she was a great girl. They're very provincial. If you want a good province girl, go to Samar. Just kind of know, there's certain areas that you shouldn't go into, but mostly you're okay. What I would recommend is just kind of research maybe some places that spark your interest. Maybe there's an area that has some great beaches, waterfalls, things like that. But Samar, great place. And number 3, and the last one that I want to talk about, is Leyte. Now, Leyte is situated right next to Samar, close to Cebu. In fact, from Cebu, you could take I think it's a 2 or 3 hour ferry ride directly across and go into the nice little town of Ormoc, which has a great little boulevard. It's kind of a sleepy little town, but it does have some nice nature spots near to it. I think some nice lakes and things like that, and maybe some waterfalls. And it's still a relatively small town and pretty unknown, but some foreigners are starting to catch on and move over there and live. Leyte has some great women, beautiful, very friendly, and it's also an island that is not used to a lot of tourists. Other than that, Tacloban, and there's an island, I can't remember the name, but there's not a whole lot of tourists that go there, and that kind of gives it its appeal again. So stay away from Ormoc and Tacloban and get into the other portions of Leyte, and there's phenomenal beauty and just great, nice women, beautiful, and that would be my 3rd choice. Now, some things I do want to mention now, because Leyte and Samar and even Negros don't have a ton of job opportunities. A lot of the girls there will just go to college in Samar and Leyte and Negros, and then they all move over to Cebu or Manila or other big cities, Davao, and they start working. So you can still find a good province girl even in the city. Of course, the longer they're in the city, then they lose some of that special province type, some of those great qualities that they originally had when they were living full-time in the province. They start to lose some of that, but you can still find them in the city. It's totally possible. But again, those are my 3 choices. Now, 2 things. Leyte and Samar, I don't know if they'll ever become really industrialized and get these major cities going with call centers and things like that, because they're prone to natural disasters. In fact, it wasn't that long ago that Leyte and Samar were devastated by a typhoon, and because of that, I think that scares away a lot of business. So, I don't know if they will ever become, industrialized with the call centers and big shopping malls and things like that, which is good and bad for them. They all have to kind of leave and go to other places to work. Okay, but the last thing I will mention before I go here, if you want specific information, I have narrowed it down to 3 little cities in the Philippines, one in Samar, one in Negros, and one in Leyte. And I give information about things to do, places to stay, and reasons why these are great places. In my opinion, the 3 best places in the Philippines to meet a great Philippine province girl. Then you want to head over to my Patreon account at Geo in the Philippines. I'll scroll it across here. It's also in the link down below in the description. And $5 a month, you can check out exclusive video content, dating, marriage, best places to go to meet a great province girl. Thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button, the like button. Stay up to date with the latest information, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.